Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we welcome all of you to our weekly Bhagavad Gita classes. Thank you all very much for joining. We have with us here Auntie Neeta, Aja, Dipti Adnani, Divya, Durga Prasad, Gayatri, Karuna. Then we have Jagriti, Lavina, Manju, NC Venkatchari, Ritu Lalwani, Shri Radhe Hari Devidasi, Shivani, and Varsha. Okay, so in the previous class, we finished with the middle section of the Bhagavad Gita. And today, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we will be starting chapter number 13. Yeah,
13.
Chapter 13 is the beginning of the final section, no? The final 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And as we discussed, this is the Jnana section. It discusses how Jnana leads to Bhakti. We know that all 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita deal with Bhakti. But the final 6 chapters deal exclusively with how Jnana can lead to Bhakti. Can you all see the screen of the PPT PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. So this chapter is titled Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. This is a chapter which is considered to be the most technical chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very technical chapter. We will try to simplify it as much as we can. But before we begin the chapter, of course, as usual, we need to discuss what are the benefits of reading, writing, learning, reciting this particular chapter. So we know that these stories are from the Gita Mahatmya, which is a conversation between Lord Shiva. And throughout 18 chapters of the Gita Mahatmya, Lord Shiva is glorifying the 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Shiva is telling Goddess Parvati that in South India, there was a very large river by the name Tungabhadra. And on the banks of this river, there was a town called Hariharpur, where a deity of Lord Shiva, Harihar, is worshipped. Now, worshipping this particular deity of Lord Shiva and having the darshan of this deity is very, very auspicious. So, in this town, Hariharpur, there lived a very learned Brahmana called Hari Dikshit. This Hari Dikshit was very, very simple and austere Brahmana, but his wife was engaged in low class activities. And because she was engaged in low class activities, her name, she was called as Durachara. So what are the low class activities that she indulged in? She spoke to her husband in abusive language, was very rude to her husband's friends, and would keep company with other women to fulfill her lusty desires. And she also took various kinds of intoxicants. Now, in order to meet her lovers every day without hindrance, what she did was she created a small structure in the forest where she could meet with her lovers and she can fulfill with her lusty desires. And one night when she was feeling very lusty, she was not able to find anyone to satisfy her lust. She went to the forest, to the meeting place, to see if she can find if any of her lovers was there. But she was not able to find anyone on that particular day. Now she was burning with lust, and in this condition, she started to wander in the forest, hoping to find someone who could satisfy her. Now, all of a sudden, a tiger appeared before her, and he was about to rip her apart. He was about to kill her when she started to talk to the tiger. So she asked the tiger, "Why have you come here to kill me? First, you tell me why you have come to kill me, then you can kill me," she tells him. So then the tiger starts to relate the story. So the tiger is saying that in South India, there is a river called Malapaha. Modern day it is called as a Malaprabha river in Karnataka. So then the tiger says on the banks of this particular river, there is a town called Muniparna. Muniparna. And in that place, there is a famous deity of Lord Shiva called Panchalinga. In that town, this tiger had taken birth in a Brahmana family. So the tiger is narrating its previous birth. Although having got a very high birth, he was very greedy and had no control over his desires. So what he would do is, as a Brahmana, he would perform sacrifices for those people who are not qualified for the same. And he would also eat in the house of materialistic people. He would collect more funds than necessary for the yagyas and deity worship. And then those extra funds he would use for his own sense gratification. Not only that, he would also criticize Brahmanas who followed regulative principles very, very strictly. He never gave anything in charity. See, Brahmanas, they have 6 duties. What are the 6 duties of a Brahmana? They have to teach the Vedas and they have to learn the Vedas. Then they have to perform the yagyas and they have to teach the others how to do the yagyas. And they have to receive charity. So they have to receive charity. Why? To benefit the person who's giving the charity, no? So even though the Brahmana may not require something that is being given to him, still the Brahmana, for the sake of benefiting the person who's giving, he accepts the charity. So he has to accept charity. But when he has excess, no, when he has more than what he needs for his living, then he has to also give the charity. So these are the 6 duties of a Brahmana. So this particular Brahmana, this tiger in his previous life as a Brahmana, he never gave in charity. He only received, and whatever excess he got, he used in his own sense gratification. So he was failing in his duty as a Brahmana. So like this, he lived until one day he was very old, and still his lust and greed for money did not go away. So say the lust for the lust, basically lust, any kind of lust, whether it is for money or it is for uh, physical desires, it does not go away with old age. No, it still remains. So now he's very, very old. And one day by mistake, he went to collect funds from the house of some cruel Brahmins. Now these cruel Brahmins, what they did, they set dogs to chase him, and one of the dogs bit his leg. He fell over and very quickly he died, because remember, he was also in his advanced age. So after that, he got this tiger's body and he was living in this forest. But in the tiger's body, he is able to remember his last birth. So because he had done some punya, no, as a Brahmin, he had done some punya karmas. So he is given the benefit of remembering his past life in the tiger's body. So he is able to remember his last birth, and hence he does not attack any devotee or sannyasi or chaste lady. But now the tiger is telling this lady that because you are very unchaste and very, very sinful, I will certainly eat you. And he devoured the woman. Now the Yamadutas threw Durachara in a hell called Duyadha, which is a lake full of stool, urine, and blood. She had to stay in that filthy place, in that hellish planet, for 10 million kalpas. What is one kalpa? Anybody remembers? What is one kalpa?
1 day of Brahma.
1 day of Brahma. Yes, very nice. And how much is 1 day of Brahma? How many years?
4 yugas.
4 yugas. Just the 4 yugas is 1 day of Brahma? 4 yugas put together is
No,
one.
no, actually, 12 hours of Brahma is one. Sorry, 12 hours of Brahma is 4 yugas. It's something like.
You're close,
What?
but not accurate.
1 Divya Yoga?
Yeah. So one Divya, the 4 yugas put together is one Divya Yuga. And how many Divya Yugas make 1 day or 12 hours in the life of Brahma?
1,000 years.
Yes, 1000 Divya Yugas make 12 hours in the life of Brahma, and the same number of years make one night in the life of Brahma. So 1 day of Brahma, you can calculate by this calculation, comes to 4,320,000,000 years. So this is one kalpa. And she had to stay, Duyada had to stay in that filthy lake of stool, urine, and blood for 10 million kalpas. So 4,320,000,000 years into 10 million. Means for so many years, she had to stay in that hellish planet. In the Bhagavatam, there is a description of the hellish planets in the 5th canto. There are different hellish planets that are described. Very, very graphic explanation of what are the sinful activities done by people, and they have different hellish planets for the different kinds of sinful activities. No, it's very graphically described in the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam. So anyway, here coming back to our story, after that, she was thrown into a hell called Raurava. So after she has finished her stay in this previous hell, now she is thrown into another hell called Raurava. And there she had to stay for 100 manvantaras. What is a manvantara? Is the duration of one manu. So how many Divya Yugas one manu lives? Anybody remembers from our previous classes? How many manus in 1 day of Brahma?
14.
14 manus. Yes, very nice. So one manvantara comes to 71 Divya Yugas. So she had to stay for 100 manvantaras in the second hell called Raurava. So you can see how much a price, no, what a high price she has to pay for being unchaste, Now, after she has spent all these millions and millions of years in these hellish planets, after that she has taken birth on earth as a female Chandala. So she is not getting a very high birth also. She is getting a very low birth. So she's taken birth on earth as a female Chandala. And again, she lives as she had previously lived. Again, she is doing those activities that she was doing previously when she was on the planet, before she had gone to the hellish planets. So just see, after so many millions of years of punishment also, is not able to transform her, is not able to change her, is not able to help her overcome her lusty desires. So transformation will not take place by punishment. Punishment will help you remove the karmic reaction. But the transformation of the heart will only take place when one comes in association with devotees, when one comes in association with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So again, now as a Chandala, she has acting as she was previously doing. And again, now due to her sinful activities, she got leprosy and tuberculosis. So much of sin and after so much of punishment, we can see that the inclination to engage in sinful activities of hers is not gone away. So in this condition, she goes to a town called Hariharpur, and there close to a temple of goddess Parvati, more specifically to the temple of Jambaka Devi, she comes across one great saint called Vasudev. And this sage Vasudev is every day reciting the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now she got attracted to that sound vibration. She got attracted to that chanting. And she started to hear that again and again. And by constant hearing of that 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, she was able to give up the body of the Chandala and she became free of all the reactions of her past sinful life. So just imagine, just by the constant hearing of Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, so much of sin has been eradicated. Then she attains a four-armed form similar to that of Lord Vishnu and was taken to Vaikuntha. Just hearing is so fortunate, no? So imagine what to speak about those who read and study this chapter scrutinizingly. So this we already discussed. She saw the great saint Vasudev, who was always reciting the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. From his mouth, she heard that recitation and became attracted. She heard it again and again, and by that hearing, she was able to give up that body of a Chandala and becoming completely free from the reactions of her past sinful activities. She attained a four-armed form similar to Lord Vishnu, and she was taken to Vaikuntha. So as we discussed, the Gita is divided into 3 sections, and today we will be starting the Jnana section, beginning the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains what is it that we saw in the 3 sections. So Srila Prabhupada writes that the first 6 chapters discuss the knower of the body and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord. So the knower of the body, actually there are 2 knowers of the body, the soul and the super soul. But here, you see the first 6 chapters primarily discusses about the difference between the body and the soul. So how the knower of the body can understand what is one's identification, and by what position one can understand the other knower of the body, understand the Supreme Lord or the super soul. The middle 6 chapters discusses the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul in regards to devotional service. So that's why this whole section is heavily focusing on bhakti, devotional service. It describes the superior position of Krishna and the subordinate position of the living entity. It's not only enough to know the soul and the super soul, but one should understand the subordinate position of the soul in comparison to the super soul. So it describes the superior position of Krishna and the subordinate position of the living entity. We have to understand that how we are the eternal servants of Krishna. Also we saw the 4 kinds of pious men who approached the Lord. Now in the last 6 chapters, we will see how the living entity comes in contact with material nature. So remember, the living entity is spiritual and material nature is material. How the spiritual is coming in contact with the material, how the living entity comes in contact. So the living entity belongs to the superior nature of Krishna, and the material nature is the inferior nature, no? How the superior nature is coming in contact with the lower nature. So explains how the living entity comes in contact with the material nature and how the living entity is delivered by the Lord through different methods. So basically, this is what we will be seeing in this middle section. So one may ask, if bhakti is the culmination of yoga ladder. So we know in the yoga ladder, bhakti is right on top. So one may ask, if bhakti is the topmost position in the yoga ladder, why is jnana presented after the bhakti section? So how to answer this question? In 12.7, Lord Krishna promised to save his devotees from the path of birth and death. So in this 12.7, Krishna said that for his devotees, he is the swift deliverer. Remember, swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So Krishna promised to save his devotees in text 12.7. So chapters 13 to 18 fulfill this promise by supplying the philosophical knowledge necessary to extricate oneself from material entanglement. So what is the knowledge that is needed for one to come out of that material entanglement? That is discussed in this last section of the Bhagavad Gita. Jnana has its use in assisting our detachment from Maya and our subsequent attachment to Krishna. When we utilize knowledge as a means to attain devotion, it becomes a part of bhakti. So jnana, when it is used for attaining devotion, then jnana also becomes a part of bhakti. It's not separate. Without the touch of bhakti, both karma and jnana are useless. This is another reason why the discussion of bhakti comes in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, where it can remain in contact with both karma and jnana and thus lend them value and give them life. So you can see here, bhakti, by being in the middle, is touching both jnana and karma. So it's giving life and meaning to both jnana and karma by being in the center. Bhakti is rahasya, very secret. It is the essence of all scriptures. It is the most important. And the most important is kept in the middle. For example, when the king is traveling with his army, is always in the middle, it is protected. Therefore, bhakti is kept in the middle. So this chapter is divided into 5 sections. As we proceed, we will see them. In the first section, Arjuna is asking 6 questions, and Krishna explains the field of activities and the knower of the field. So let's hear the verse. Who can read today?
I can read, Mataji.
Thank you, Jagrati.
अथ त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतद्वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रमित्यभिधीयते एतद्यो वेत्ति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः.
Translation?
Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, the field of the knower of the field, and the knowledge of the object of knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field."
So this chapter begins with Arjuna asking 6 questions. He wants to know the meaning of 6 terms. What are the 6 terms that he wants to know about? He is saying, please explain to me about Prakriti, Purusha, Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, the field, the knower of the field, knowledge, and the object of knowledge. So six terms, no, 6 technical terms are there here. Prakriti, material, he wants to know about material nature. Purusha, the enjoyer of matter. Kshetra, the field in which one can act within the material world. Kshetrajna, entity which experiences the field of actions. Jnana, knowledge and the process of acquiring knowledge. And Jnaya, object of knowledge. So Arjuna is inquiring about these 6 terms. Now, where is Arjuna getting these 6 terms from? So far, what we have seen in Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna's questions are connected to what Krishna has just spoken previously. No, if Krishna uses some terms and Arjuna did not understand, then Arjuna inquires about those terms. Or when he asks the universal form, who are you? What is your mission? It is in connection with what Arjuna has just seen. No, but these terms, has Arjuna heard these terms before from Krishna on the battlefield? Has Krishna spoken Nyaya, Kshetragya, Kshetra? Has he used these terms before?
No.
No.
No, he has not used these terms before. So Arjuna's questions are not connected to what Krishna has spoken to him on the battlefield. These questions are coming from what Arjuna has learned previously in the current lifetime. But previously, out of the battlefield, when he has acquired knowledge, he has heard these terms. And now he wants to inquire about the terms that he has previously learned, sometime before he has learned from somewhere, at some place, at some point, from someone. Somewhere he has learned this, and he wants to know how these terms can be connected to Bhagavad Gita, how these are connected to the teachings, or how they can be applied to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, Arjuna, now you see in this section he's asking Krishna the meaning of these 6 terms, but these terms are not used by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita so far. Now in second shloka, Krishna is answering 2 out of the 6. What is he saying? This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is the knower of the field. So out of the 6, Krishna is answering the 3rd and 4th questions. No, Kshetra and Kshetragya. Krishna is explaining. He is not first answering 1 and 2. He is answering 3 and 4. So Krishna is not answering Arjuna's questions in the same order in which Arjuna is asking. First he is explaining what is Kshetra, and then he is explaining what is Kshetragya. So what does Krishna say? Kshetra means it's this body. This body, O son of Kunti, is called as the field. So the field of activities is the body that we have. And who is the knower of the body? One who knows this body is called the knower of the field. So the body is the field, and one who knows the body is the knower of the field. Now, what does that mean? So the field is the body. Now, just as how on the field you have crops that are growing, and those crops may be good crops or bad crops. Now, what is a factor that determines what are the kind of crops that are going to grow? It's the quality of the seed, principally the quality of the seed. The first thing that you're putting in the soil is the seed. So if the seed is of good quality, then it is most probable that the crop that grows will be of good quality. So the crops are good and bad depending on the quality of the seed that was sown. If the seed is good, then the crops are good. If the seed is bad, then the crops are bad. So likewise, in our body, in this current body, we also have good experiences and bad experiences, where we experience pleasure as well as we have pain. So what is a seed here compared to our experiences of good and bad? Or what is the kind of body that we have? Now, see, usually if you have a good body, then you have more good experiences. For example, here you can see if you have a healthy body, then this person has more good experiences and less bad experiences. But if a person has a diseased body, the person is always sick, the body is not a very healthy body, then the bad experiences are overpowering the good experience that he may sometimes have. So what determines what kind of experience we are going to have in this body? What is the seed here compared to? What determines the kind of body that we are going to get?
Our karma.
Our karma, yes, the kind of activities that we have done in the past determines the kind of body that we have in the present. So what we do right now, no, these activities that we are doing currently are by those activities are sowing the seeds of our next body. So if we do good activities, then we will be sowing good seeds in the field for our next experience. No, so whatever we do now every day in our day-to-day activities is going to determine what is the next body that we are going to get. Whether we are going to get a spiritual body, or we may get the demigod body, we may get a body that is going to enjoy in the higher planetary systems, or on the earthly planet, or in the lower planetary systems, or even on the earthly planet. There are so many varieties of good and bad bodies, isn't it? So like that, Krishna is saying that this body is the field of activities. In this body, we are doing so many activities, no? And the good and bad experiences of the field of activities can be compared to the crops. So the seed sown is one's previous actions. See, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains. Body is the field of activity. For whom? For whom? It is for the conditioned soul. Because a liberated soul does not have a material body. It's only the conditioned souls who have a material body like us. So why do we get this field? Why do we get this material body? The soul is entrapped in material existence because of his attempts to lord it over, because we want to be the controllers. No? Therefore, we are trapped in the material existence. So what is the criteria to decide which body we get? According to the capacity to dominate material energy. Now, if one is in a demigod body, one is in the body of a devata, then he has greater capacity to dominate material energy. But if one is in the body of a human being, then we have less capacity to do the same. And if one is in the body of an animal, then the capacity is even less. So according to the capacity to dominate material energy, and also according to the capacity to enjoy sense gratification, how much sense gratification can you enjoy in a particular body? So depending on these two factors, one gets a particular body to function accordingly. So this is Kshetra. This is Kshetra. This is the body as the field of activities. Then what is Kshetragya? What Krishna explains, how to understand the difference between the body and the knower of the body. So Krishna says one who knows the field is the knower, one who knows the body is the knower of the field or the knower of the body. So based on the changing phases of the body is constantly changing from childhood to old age, but one remains the same person. In chapter 2, we saw this verse, no? Dehinosmin atha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. The body is changing from youth to, changing from childhood to youth to old age. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. So the body is constantly changing, but one remains the same person. The feeling will be the same. Even though one may be 80-year-old, 90-year-old, 100-year-old, but the feeling is always the same. No, it's the same that one felt when one was in his youth, when one was in the 20s. No, one does not feel old. So the feeling is the same. One remains the same person. Also, the soul, we know what is the soul. The soul does not change. One remains the same person. You still identify yourself as the same person that you were 50 years back. So what is the intuitive understanding? Although we may use many articles, we are different from the body and those articles. What does that mean? We may think, I am happy. I am man. I am so and so. I am the manager. I am the MD of the company. So like that, these are all bodily designations of the knower. But we are not that person. I am not man. So this I is different from man because the soul is different from being male or female. Of course, the living entity is feminine, but these are all bodily designations. No, I am Indian or I am American. These are all bodily designations. In this lifetime, one may have got a body that is Indian. One may have taken birth in a particular country and call himself Indian. But in the next lifetime, maybe somebody is born in South Africa or somebody is born in Japan, like that. So these are all bodily designations. It's the identification of the material body. It's not the identification of the soul. So one must understand that we are different from the body. and those articles, anything that are identifying us with the body, we are different from that. See, once Srila Prabhupada, he was explaining to some students, he would tell the students, now point to your head. So the students would say like this, now point to your nose, this. Now point to your cheeks, here. Point to your chest, here. So like that, different parts of the body, Srila Prabhupada would tell the children to point at. Then Prabhupada said, now point to yourself. So then they would, someone point here, someone put point here, someone point here. So then Prabhupada said, no, but that you already pointed when I said point to your chest. That you already pointed when I told you to point to your cheek. So what does that mean? It means my cheek means you are different from that cheek. No, my body. So your body is different. You are something else. Body is something that belongs to you. So like this, Krishna is saying that Kshetragya is one who knows the body. So the one is different from the body. See this verse that is spoken by Kapila Muni to his mother Devahuti. He's saying, Kapila Muni is saying, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. See, karmana. Karmana means according to your karma, by the result of your work. And daiva netrena, under the supervision of the Lord. So according to the karma and under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, this thing happens. What happens? Deho upapataye. The soul is given a particular body. No? How? By entering into the womb of a woman. So striya pravishta udaram. The soul is entering into the udaram or the womb of the striya, of the woman. How does the soul enter into the womb of a woman? Through the particle of male semen. Pumsho reta kana ashraya. Kana ashraya means a particle. Ashraya means he is taking the ashraya, he is taking the shelter, or he is dwelling in the reta. In the pumsha reta kana ashraya, in a particle of the semen, to assume a particular type of body. So where is the soul present? The soul is actually present initially in the
In the heart.
in the
Heart. Next to Krishna.
according to the verse that we just read. Where is the soul present?
In the particle.
In the particle of the male semen, right? So even before the man and woman unite, the soul is already present in the particle of the male semen. It's not that the soul is entering into or is coming into existence or is getting that body inside the womb. The soul is already present in the particle of the male semen. And through the particle of the male semen, it is entering the womb of the woman, of the mother. So what kind of a soul will go to what kind of a man? And where will you find the good souls? How is it entering into the male semen? How does the soul enter into the male semen?
Under the supervision of God?
Under the supervision of the Lord, yes. But how? Remember we read
Through the karmas.
through the karmas, but where? How does the soul enter into the male semen?
In the rain?
From the rain, the souls are coming down in the rain. From the rain, they go to the
earth?
To the earth. So what is growing from the earth?
The food.
The
Food
food,
plot.
isn't it? The crops. So from the rain, the soul is entering the grain. And when the man eats the grain, then the soul is going into the body of the man. So what kind of food has good souls? Pious souls. Prasad or non-prasad?
Or
Prasad.
Isn't it? So that's why you will see that usually devotee families will attract good souls. Now, if a child is very, very demoniac, is not into devotional service, is because it is coming from the previous life of the child. Now, we may try to raise a child in a particular way. We may try to teach the child so many things. That is fine. That is very good. That is also effective. But the most effective way is actually you attract a good soul, even before conception. That way you can make sure that you have a good child, not a child who's going to give you pain, but a child who will give you pleasure. So if you want to ensure that your child is a devotee, what should you do? What is the most proactive way? Proactive means you create a particular situation. You're not only reacting to a situation that is already present, you are creating a situation. So where should you begin? Where should you begin? Should you train your child when your child is an adult? Will that work?
No.
At
No.
all.
It may work. It may work. It's not a complete zero, but it's more difficult, right? It's more difficult. Train your child when your child is in teens.
Difficult.
No.
Is there something
Yes.
better than that?
When
Train
the
your child
child
in his boyhood. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
When the child is in the womb.
When the child is in the womb. Okay.
Mm.
Train your child when your child is a toddler. Educate your child when he's in the womb. But is there anything better than that?
The conception.
Plan an auspicious time of conception. Yes, when the child is in the womb, already the soul is present in the womb. Yes, so there also you are reacting to a situation that is already existing because that soul is already there in the womb. That soul with its past karma, the mentality is already there in the womb. So the best way, the most proactive way to make sure that your child is a devotee is that you plan an auspicious time of conception so that you are attracting a good soul. You are attracting a soul which is coming with good background, good past life, good mentality of a devotee. So that
but
is the most proactive. Everything else here, you are only reacting to a situation that is already existing. Because even here, the child in the womb is already having its past balance. You cannot change that. I mean, you
But
can change by devotional service, but still you are already reacting to a situation that is already there. Now, if you plan an auspicious time of conception, then that is the most proactive. Here you are creating a situation and you are ensuring that your child is a devotee. The process of what qualities the child will have is decided when the soul is invited to the womb. The timing of conception is the most proactive way of ensuring that the child is a devotee. After that, it is all patchwork. It is all patchwork. You're only trying to react to a situation that is already existing. Struggle of the parents is much less if the last option is taken. So yes, even in the others, you can train the child in the womb as a toddler, boyhood, teens, even adulthood. So many of us have come into Krishna consciousness in our adulthood only. But the struggle of the parents will be least for the parents. No, it will be easiest if one is planning to plan in such a way that you attract a good soul in the womb. That is the most proactive way.
But it's already in the body of male body, right? Soul.
Yeah, but at that time, the particular soul can be attracted. Now, when it is being attracted, it may be on that same day, in that particular moment, or one day before. That information we do not have. Give me a minute. Sorry. Yeah, so you can attract that particular soul to that particular person. So usually the devotees, the brahmanas or the Vaishnavas, they attract the good souls. Okay, now we will see what kind of timing. Okay, even the timing, as we are talking about attraction, we will
Mataji,
discuss a
I
little
have
bit
the
more on
same
this.
doubt.
What?
I have similar doubt regarding it.
Yes.
So you already, while yes, you told this, already soul will be there when we take food. right? Then
Yeah.
it is already there in the body. Then how then again when you will attract?
Yeah, so that food you may have taken on that same day also. No, it may be just the food that you have consumed. It may not necessarily be the food that you have consumed 1 month back. You don't know when, which food, which crop, which soul is coming into the body.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course, if suppose I did not take prasadam that day, but
Why?
the
That's why you must
conception
always
happened,
take only prasadam.
conception happened at right time, then how does it will at right time? I'm asking because you are telling the particular time of unite.
It's a
Is that
combination and permutation of so many factors.
okay?
Even the
Okay, ma'am.
time of conception will attract a particular kind of soul. The time of conception we will see here. Okay, but
Okay, ma'am.
the other factor was also what kind of food you are eating. So, of course, even your spiritual life is a combination of so many factors. Now, can you just pinpoint only one thing? There are so many factors that you have to consider in your spiritual life. So, like that, even conception and even attracting souls, there are so many factors that are taken into consideration. Okay,
Okay, Mataji.
you don't sound
Because
convinced. Okay, man.
no, I'm fine. But actually, I have the same doubt because even devotees like their Ravana, Kumbhakarna, otherwise Hiranyakashipu, they also to the devotees they bond. How they got these souls like bad souls? How
Yeah,
they
so
attracted?
yeah, this is the exact question that we are going to answer now. How those demons were born, although the father is a devotee, right? Because in case of Ravan and Kumbhakaran, the mother was a non-devotee. She was from a demon family, but the father was a devotee. Okay, he was a Brahmin. But now we will see this.
But Hiranyakashipu,
We will
they are
discuss the pregnancy of Diti, and here your question will be answered. Okay.
okay, Mataji. Thank you.
So if you go to your Veda Way, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter number 14, titled Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening, you will see how Diti was feeling very much afflicted. She had this strong desire to unite with her husband, and she requests her husband that I want to have a child. At that time, her husband tells her that it's not an auspicious time. Actually, that time it was the Sandhya period. Sandhya period means it's the time when the sun has not completely set. It is about to set. Sandhya period. It's the meeting time. The time when the two different times of the day they are meeting. Sandhya. So that time her husband Kashyapa Muni tells her that it is not an auspicious time. You need to wait for some more time. But she was feeling so afflicted that she was not able to overcome her desire. And then Kashyapa Muni had to fulfill her desire. And so she conceived at an inauspicious time. See, at that time, so Kashyapa Muni, in order to convince his wife, he makes this statement. You can read the whole chapter, very interesting chapter. But one of the things he tells her is that Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, travels at this time, accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare. So, what is that time? See here, Sandhya. The Sanskrit has the word Sandhyayam. Sandhyayam means at the junction of day and night. So, he's telling her that at this time, during the Sandhya period, Lord Shiva is traveling and he's accompanied by the ghosts who follow him. Now, why is Lord Shiva traveling accompanied by the ghosts? Because Lord Shiva is the well-wisher of the ghosts and spirits. That's why one of Lord Shiva's name is Bhutnath. He wants them, he wants to help them, out of compassion. He wants to help them. So that's why one of his names is Bhutnath. So what he does is he is traveling at that time during the Sandhya period, followed by the ghosts. Now, in the purport, this is only an excerpt of the purport. Srila Prabhupada explains Lord Shiva or Rudra is the king of the ghosts. Ghostly characters worship Lord Shiva to be gradually guided towards a path of self realization. Ghosts are bereft of a physical body because of their grievously sinful acts, such as suicide. So, the ghosts, they do not have the gross body, but they have the subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So, therefore, they have this, they do not have a physical body. Lord Shiva, being very kind to the ghosts, sees that although they are condemned, they get physical bodies. So he wants to make sure that they can get the physical body. So what he does, he places them into the wombs of women who indulge in sexual intercourse regardless of the restrictions of time and circumstances. So there are auspicious times to unite and there are inauspicious times to unite. If you conceive a child at an auspicious time, then you can attract a good soul. If you conceive a child at an inauspicious time, then you attract the ghostly characters. Kashyapa wanted to impress this fact upon Diti so that she might wait for a while. But she did not wait. And finally, who took birth from her womb? Who remembers?
Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakashipu and
Hiranyakashipu and
Hiranya.
Hiranya.
Hiranyaksha.
Yes. So these two demons were conceived because Diti requested her husband to fulfill her desire at an inauspicious time. So, at the time at which the man and woman unite also is one of the factors that will determine whether the soul is a devotee soul or a demoniac soul. This is the reason why we have Garbhadhana Samskara. When we do the Garbhadhana Samskara before the man and woman unite, then the man and the woman, they are put in the right consciousness, right frame of mind before they are uniting so that they can attract a good soul. The Brahman also will tell them, okay, this is a good time for you to unite, and at this time you can unite. In South India, even today, this is followed in the traditional families. Now, the Brahman will say that this is a good time for the man and woman to unite. Now, if a child is conceived on a Saturday night over a glass of whiskey at a discotheque, what kind of a soul is going to be attracted there? A devotee soul? Certainly not, isn't it? So some of the samskaras for having a child, what are the inauspicious times to avoid? See, this is a little too technical. It's going a little out of the syllabus, but I just put it here because it's also interesting. The first 4 nights of the menses or 6, no, these are the times one should avoid conceiving a child. The main thing is that the menses should have ended, which could be longer for some women. Those times should be avoided. Then the 11th and the 13th nights from the start of the menses, and one is not supposed to go past the 16th night. So the remaining 10 days are suitable provided they do not fall on those lunar tithis which are forbidden. So these are the days of the menstrual cycle that are suitable for conceiving a good child. No, but these days again should not coincide with certain tithis. What are the forbidden tithis? Shuddha Ekadasi. If it's an Ekadasi that day, one should not conceive a child. Then days of vows, vrata or fasting days. If it's a fasting day, then you should not conceive a child. And if it's a full moon or new moon days, those are also not suitable for having a child. Then Ashtami Tithi and Chaturdashi Tithi, the 8th and the 14th Tithis of each fortnight is not suitable. When one of the two spouses is weak or sick, as soon as the wife becomes pregnant, they should not unite. Then during the Sandhya periods or junctures of the day, and this also includes midnight. So these are the times one should not have a child. This way you can ensure that your child is a devotee. The main thing about any samskara is that one should be very Krishna conscious, of course. So at the end of the day, whatever tithi it may be, the main thing is, even though the time may be right, one should be Krishna conscious. One should not be in that lusty frame of mind, no. And the rituals involved are meant to keep a lasting spiritual impression in the chitta, in the consciousness, which will impact upon the type of jiva which one attracts as one's child. So what is the jiva that you're attracting as your child? Of course, it is not only that impacts. The karma of the parents is also very important. So it's a combination, as you can see, is a combination of many factors. The karma of the parents also is important. See, there are 5 kinds of children. We say that, oh, my child, we all love our children very much. But actually, not all children give pleasure to the parents. So there are 5 kinds of children. There are children due to one's bad karma. Then there are children who are getters, who want to take from you due to a previous life calculation. So maybe you owed money to them in the previous lifetime, and that person to whom you owed money has come in this lifetime as your child to take money from you. So therefore, you will see some children, they will make the parents spend a lot of money. The parents spend a lot of money on a particular child, maybe because of disease or education or whatever may be the factor. No, there are some children who 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 incur a lot of expenses for their parents. So they are actually they are the ones who have come to get money from you in this particular life. Then children who are your enemies from your previous life and want to cause problems. So sometimes our children may be our enemies from the previous lifetime and they want to trouble you. No, they want to take revenge somehow or the other. They want to cause problem to you. So in this lifetime, they are coming as your children and they are causing you problems. Some are super children, children who will do all the ceremonies for you after death. So such children are the super children. They are the good children. And the last category is udasin, neutral. They are completely detached. They are neither for you nor against you. They are completely detached from you. So there are 5 kinds of children. This I have heard from my Guru Maharaj many times. Okay, now let's come back to Durga Prasad. You have raised your hand.
Smith, I'm searching that raising hand from some time, but actually I want to ask in this matter. There are 2 doubts for me. That through rains you are telling the semen, I mean soul will come. Where come it will come actually through rains means I did not get to that point. Actually, it will be in the air or soul where it is there through rains. How does it comes?
The souls fall down from the higher realms through the rain they are coming. From the rain, they go into the soil. From the soil, they go into the grain. From the grains, they are entering into the human body. But not every grain has a soul. Not every grain has a soul. So again, as I said, it's a combination of different factors. Suppose one is a devotee, one is already in Krishna consciousness. The arrangement will be made. See, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, also it says, no. Where is that shloka? Daiva Netrena, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. So the Lord will arrange in such a way that this particular good soul enters into the body of the man through the good grains, through the prasad, not good grains, but through prasad. And then again, the Lord already, see, Krishna knows past, present, and future. So Krishna already knows that this particular devotee will follow the samskaras, he will follow the Garbhadana samskara, and he will unite at a particular time. So he will arrange for the good soul to go into the body of the devotee. He makes the arrangement. It is all done under the supervision of the Lord.
So it's something like pre-planned because already suppose we did not do proper things, but proper time we united by doing samskaras. But even there is no chance, they will get chance or not. At the same time, you are telling demon, what is that? Bhutanad, he will send soul. So it is coming from outside, it is already there inside because the circumstance is important, the time.
It can
And one is coming through prasad.
it can be either way. It can be either way. There is no one fixed rule. It can be that the soul is there at the time of taking prasad. It can be at the time of conceiving the particular soul is attracted. It can be either way. It can be either way.
So from outside also it can come. Not already there in the semen like that, something like that.
Yes, yes. The soul may be attracted at the time of conception, or the soul may be attracted at the time of when the Brahman is consuming the food. It can be either way. But the whole thing is that everything is under the supervision of the Lord. The Lord will arrange that this particular soul gets this particular body in this particular womb. Because Krishna knows what you are going to do. It's not that everything is destined, so I should not do the samskara. It's not like that. Krishna already knows what you are going to do. What you do, whether you do the samskara or not, is the decision that you make according to your free will. But the point is, Krishna already knows what you are going to do. So he makes the particular arrangements.
Yeah. So from outside also to it can attract, you mean to say, or already from food soul will be there inside, and at the same time, uniting time also, there is a chance of attracting soul from outside. You mean to say that?
Yes, yes, yes. That is what I understand.
So can I ask you one? So what happens to the soul already in the body then? if it when another soul attracts comes during the united time.
No, other soul. There is not going to be clashing. If there is a soul, there will be conception. If there is a soul, there will be conception. If there is no conception taking place, for example, there are so many couples, they unite. And medically, the doctor says they are fit, but conception is not taking place. Why conception not taking place? Because the soul is absent. The soul is absent.
Okay.
You
The
mean only
soul is
one
present,
soul?
there will be conception. What?
Number of souls will be there. No, my doubt is like semen have souls, right? It has souls. Number of souls are only one soul.
No. It's not that there are
No.
millions of souls. No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
Okay. And Mataji, I did not understand still that rain, how does it comes? From where it is coming?
The rain is coming from the clouds, no?
Clouds it is coming, no? But the soul is in cloud or where? Where it is souls?
The souls
Where it is
come
falling down?
down in the form of the rains. The souls are coming down in the rain. Through the rains, they are coming down. That statement is there in the Shastra.
Where it is initially, I did not get that point actually. It is
Where
coming
is
down from where?
from the higher planetary systems? No, it may be in the, where is the soul now? You don't know. The soul may be in Swarga Loka. It may be coming from Brahma Loka. It may be falling down from Vaikuntha.
Even from lower planets also there is chance, na?
From the lower planets also there is a chance, but somehow or the other, they are coming down in the form of rains. So there is some way by which the soul probably travels. That detail I have not read. I don't think that detail is there. But the detail that is there at best in our Shastra is that the soul comes down through the rains. From the rains, it goes to the grains, and from the grains, it enters the body. That much only is available.
Okay.
But the rain is through Indra, isn't it? Or
Yeah, Indra is the god of rain. But remember that above Indra, Indra is not the supreme god, no. Indra is a servant of Krishna. We have already read that.
okay.
Can we proceed?
Yes, Mataji,
Yeah,
yes,
sir.
please. Maybe I'll ask again later.
Okay. What is the time? I think we should stop here. We'll continue in the next class if Krishna so sanctions. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad
Hare Krishna,
Bhagavad Gita
Mataji.
ki jai.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
So as I said, this is a very technical chapter. So we will.
Mataji, these links of the Mahatma, the Gita, can you please share in the post? So this is very beautiful. You said the 13th chapter can make you sinless, and it's a very nice to read over and over again.
Okay, I will share the link in the group.
Mataji, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
In Gita Mahatya, the past time you told it is happened at what is that Parvati temple, and Krishna, and already Shiva is telling to Parvati, she might be knowing that story, right?
You get into too many technicalities, Durga Prasad. Yes, she may be knowing the stories, but as we read in the Bhagavad Gita, that a devotee always relishes the pastimes of Krishna. So even though she may know, because she is a devotee, she likes to hear it again and again and again and again. And especially when she's hearing it from Lord Shiva, who's Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, the topmost Vaishnava. So why not?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
So all your material education comes into your technical questions, Durga Prasad.
That's why I have to get spiritually by your mercy. Please show some mercy.
Everything is mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Anything else we need to discuss? Okay, then see you all next week if Krishna so sanctions. Vanchakalpataruvyaschа kripa sindhu vyayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Machadi.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you.